Marvel is very consistent. They've established a solid standard of movies that are enjoyable and fun, despite rarely diverging from the consistent standard that they've set. They've created an interlinking universe between movies and shows that, quite frankly, is impressive, and I can only think of a few that didn't quite meet the standard. They have a specific formula, and they stick to it. They've made so much money because of it and acquired a large audience that will watch anything that they make. Now, as for DC, well, they've been, you could say, much less successful. They do have an incredible Batman trilogy courtesy of Christopher Nolan, but that is completely unrelated to what DC has been trying to do. Going over the entire DC saga should be saved for another video, but just know that they are disappointing. And then, in 2017, along came Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was the movie that broke a streak of bad for DC. Now, I'm not going to say it was the best picture by any means. The plot didn't do anything extraordinary, but I don't judge superhero films with the same criteria as other films. I rate films more so on what the film is attempting to be and say, and how far it gets there. When I go see Captain America or Wonder Woman, I don't expect a slow art movie with intense drama, or an actor pushing their limits to get an Oscar. More often than not, unless you are these films who are attempting to be something else, or you're a sequel film, most superhero films are going for a few things. This includes a relatable character with a complete story arc, interesting characters, and overall a good time. So that's what I'm looking for in a superhero film. I'm looking for good action with direction, meaning the action needs a point, whether it be to develop the story or the characters. It needs relatable, unique, and interesting characters, a story that was well thought out, and a decent twist in the plot. That's it, assuming it has the basis of a good film like writing, acting, and editing. As for Wonder Woman, it meets all of my criteria and exceeds it. Wonder Woman had quick but steady pacing. We don't need to stay longer on scenes than we need to. There was exciting action beats with style and direction, and when it needed to, the film had heartfelt emotional beats that moved the story and characters along. It had an interesting twist with biblical themes of the corruptibility of man, and most importantly, it was a women's empowerment movie. Without blatantly saying it, it didn't need to preach to empower women. If you develop and write a strong, interesting female lead, the movie doesn't need to blast "I'm Just a Girl" by No Doubt over the climactic fight scene. All of these things made it the great hero movie Wonder Woman deserved, but I think there was one main overarching idea that made it excel past the rest of DC and some Marvel. What really carried this movie was a clash of perspective and ideals represented through Steve Trevor, Diana, and the setting. The writers picked one of the grittiest points in mankind, the Industrial Revolution, and at the time, the most devastating war in history, World War I. This contrast to the beauty and purity of Diana, the Amazonians, and Themyscira was very intentional. When Zeus created mankind, he made them good, strong, and passionate, and the story goes that Ares corrupted mankind with jealousy and suspicion. However, Ares reveals that he didn't corrupt mankind, he just whispers things to give them ideas. Very obviously, the main point of the movie was that mankind was always corrupt. But Steve is a representation of the state of mankind. Steve is a spy. His entire job was created because people became jealous and suspicious, which created power, wealth, society, and then eventually, after many wars, nation-states where people live divided. They needed people to spy on other states to get an upper hand during or before war. Steve's entire being proves that man is corrupt from their own nature, and he knows this. Diana, on the other hand, is morally pure. She can't even comprehend the state of man, let alone Ares not being the cause of war. One of two main strategies they use to convey this theme is with comedy. Chris Pine's comedic fluster and his attempt to explain this corrupt world to someone who is incorruptible is simply entertaining. Chris Pine sets up the joke perfectly, and Gal Gadot nails the punchline. This is what made Wonder Woman fun to watch. It's fun to see the strangeness of our world thrown back in our faces. And when the film takes a more serious turn, it doesn't sacrifice the characters they've been contrasting and building up the entire time. Steve takes on Diana's idealism and makes the ultimate sacrifice. Diana realizes the true nature of the world and instead of despairing, decides to act. Wonder Woman succeeds in its great writing, but excels beyond other superhero films in its one-two punch ability to utilize Trevor and Diana's contrasting character dynamic as comedic entertainment, while also using the relationship as a focal point for the main themes of the film. so they nailed the first film. And how hard could it be to repeat that in the next one? So what did you think about Wonder Woman? Let me know in the comments. Like this video if you enjoyed my analysis, and we will dive into what the fuck happened in the sequel to this film. Please subscribe. I know most YouTubers do this thing where they show you the analytics of how many people who watch their videos who are not subscribed, and mine is upwards of something like 99%. So please subscribe. Thanks.